You know, for a man that just lost his entire dream in a matter of seconds, Kenny, he took it rather well. I have to give the man that, because normally, if your dream just shatters, typically you might turn out like this dude, Rod, that just starts licking up some Titan Serum liquid just off the ground. So just good on you, Kenny. Such a good man for being able to accept such an L that you got in this episode. But okay, all jokes aside, this was a spectacular episode of Attack on Titan. And I don't think really many can disagree with what I just said there, because it had pretty much everything any fan of Attack on Titan would like, besides Titan action, I guess. That's the only thing that was lacking within this episode. But if you like action, if you like good character development, you like witty dialogue, you love Eren as an MC, you love Historia as a character, you love our side characters, I mean, you love Kenny, you love Levi, Mikasa, I mean, if you love these characters, if you love these certain segments of Attack on Titan, this is the episode for you. This is, like I already said, spectacular. Now, the reason for this, or one of the reasons why I think the episode is spectacular, is the Historia and Eren scene. That scene, when Eren pretty much offers his life to Historia, is like, end me, I'm done. You can have me, I don't care anymore. It was a very depressing scene, and I know when it comes to the Attack on Titan community, when it comes to the manga community, and the anime-only community, that Eren is a character that can be the butt end of any joke. He is someone that is picked on, many don't really like how he's so angry, or yelling all the time, or someone that's like, I want to kill all the Titans, you know? Everybody always makes fun of this poor man, and you can clearly see from the way that scene in this episode is done, that he's undergoing a lot of character development. He is not a flat character. He's not someone that's just, you know, one-dimensional. There's a lot more going on under the hood than we actually realized when we saw his character in Season 1 and even in Season 2. The changes in his character have been slowly taking place since Season 1, and then you saw a little bit more of it in Season 2. But this right here with Season 3, after being kind of separated from Eren as a character for multiple episodes, we truly get to see how he is changing. And let's get into that. So as we know, Eren, he's always been someone that wanted to kill all the Titans. That's been his goal since the very beginning. Ever since what happened to his family, you know, people around him, he's always had this anger, this hatred burning within him to take out all the Titans. He wants to kill all the Titans. That's been the objective since the very beginning, and it's spawned countless amount of memes throughout the Attack on Titan community. But the thing is this character that was driven by that one goal had a reality check. He had his entire world just come crashing down in just a matter of minutes. For instance, when he starts getting memories back of Frida, starts remembering what his father Grisha did, he starts to realize that his role in trying to save humanity but also kill all the Titans, he's not necessarily the most important person for the job. He is definitely someone that shouldn't fulfill that goal. There is other people that are destined or even better than him that can get the job done. For instance, Historia, or Rod's family in general, they're individuals that can actually use Eren's Titan power to the full efficiency to get the job done, to actually control and take out all the Titans. And so when Eren realizes all the things that's happened to him, all the people that's died, all the people that's been sacrificed to get him to where he's at, and he's always had this goal of taking down the Titans, killing all the Titans, he realizes that pretty much everything was kind of worthless. He feels like he was worthless because they died for him, when in reality he can't really achieve the goal properly because someone like Historia would be better for the job. And so when he's sitting there crying, he's like, just end me, you know, it's fine, Historia, I'm done. It kind of, in a way, Historia and Eren had a role reversal. Their entire motives as characters swapped in that moment. And let's give a little bit more details. As we know, Historia, she was someone that really didn't care much about her life until she really met Ymir. When she met Ymir, Ymir changed her, and she felt happiness to continue to move forward. And we've seen how this effect happened to her, like what Ymir had on Historia and how she was changed. We saw this throughout Season 2 as well. And in this episode, when Eren acts like he does, he was pretty much acting like Historia. And Historia, when she looks at him, she realizes that he was pretty much in her exact same shoes. She felt, similar to him, and it was relatable. And she was also in a position to where she was like Eren. She wanted to kill all the Titans. And she, in that moment, like I said, role reversal. I thought that was really cool. It really just kind of shows that Eren, he had a big wake-up call. He realizes he might not be the most important person to save humanity, and it's stuff like that that really makes me appreciate Attack on Titan's writing, and why I really fell in love with the series even more than I did when I read this in the manga for the first time. And this anime episode really just concretes the fact of how well done Attack on Titan is, and how the build-up of this very scene was since Season 1. And all the anger issues, to Eren's yelling, and all of that was built up for this very moment, for his mental state to just come crashing down, and then to realize, like, holy crap, everybody pretty much died for no reason. I shouldn't exist. I shouldn't have been born. That's how he felt. And like I said, Historia, she understands that. She actually had to go through that as well. Great scene. Spectacular. It's why I think this is probably one of my favorite moments of the episode. It really just kind of breaks down Eren as a character, and he doesn't act like a typical MC that's like, I'll find another way. I'll find another way to make sure we're all happy. I'll find another way to use my power and all that to the fullest. I'm glad he didn't do that crappy type dialogue that you see constantly throughout different shows and manga, and that's also what makes me appreciate, Eren as a character, is that he just straight up, like I said, reality check. There's people better than you. So let's talk about Kenny. Kenny is someone that was introduced in Season 3 of Attack on Titan. He was someone that many manga readers, myself included, was looking forward to seeing animated for the first time. He always had this personality, this, aura about him throughout the manga that made him a really freaking cool character. And the way he was kind of introduced in Season 3 with his first real introduction to Levi, and he's like, yo, Levi, and then you just see how he starts coming through the bar doors and all that, or just, when he jumps on top of the roof, also that happened in the first episode. Just all these different scenes when he was first introduced really stunned the hell out of me as a watcher of Attack on Titan and a manga reader at this point. And so I'm glad to see that Kenny as a character, I think he's been handled very well throughout this season of Attack on Titan, especially with the way they introduced him early, the way they went about it, but also his character expressions and when you could just feel his emotions in that moment when he realizes that everything that he's been doing since this very point to try to get the power from Rod was all worthless in the end, which is why I talked about that at the beginning of this episode, that his entire goal, his objective just, shattered. He can no longer get that because he realized that it's actually not possible. So that goes into my next segment of discussion. So the big point going on here is that the only person that could effectively use Eren's Titan power would be someone from Historia's family, or her bloodline. And because of that, that means that someone randomly cannot come in out of nowhere, like for instance Kenny, and steal that Titan power and think they can gain control and use it effectively, unless Rod is lying. Now that is a possibility. Think about it like this, okay? Think about what happened within this episode. Remember, it's very clear that Rod was manipulating Historia. It's even basically stated at the end of the episode, and Historia's like, wait a minute, father, you have had this Titan power for 100 years, so why hasn't humanity been saved yet? And in that moment, Historia asked the most important question to her father. If you've had this power all along, and yes, maybe the first individual wanted to be a coward and hide within the walls, okay, fine, that's understandable. But after all of that, after that first generation, and this being constantly passed down, shouldn't, people have wanted to break out of the walls and save humanity? And Historia asked a very important question, like, why hasn't it been done? And that's when the entire argument of what Rod wanted Historia to do starts crashing down. It's very obvious that he didn't really care much for her. He was just, manipulating her to get what he wants. And he also didn't really actually want to, shift into a Titan either, because, like I said, he was manipulating Historia. So yeah, overall, I think the way that went down with the, finding out the truth about why Historia was about to turn into a Titan, to also why Kenny, like someone like Kenny can't come in and steal it, it just makes a whole lot more sense now how this power stayed in their reigns for such a long time. And even if Grisha, he did steal it for Eren, Eren can't effectively use it. But, like I said, we know that Rod manipulated or tried to manipulate Historia, so he could be also lying about the power for all we know. He could actually be able to use it, might be a lot harder for whatever reason, but at the very least we do know that Rod can't be 100% trusted. But he does take the matter into his own hands at the end of the episode by turning into a Titan, which... that's interesting. I like the way that final scene was done. Now, let's get the big thing out of the way, the big question. Let's talk about Kenny and what could potentially happen to him now in the series. Now that his goal has shattered, he can't get what he wants, what purpose does he have? Honestly, really nothing. He even admits he really doesn't really have much right now. He can't really save all of humanity. He can't become the new king. So what role does he have to play right now? Is he going to continue to be the enemy of Levi? Is he going to join Eren and Historia's side? What's going to really happen? Because we know that Kenny is not someone that's really on Rod's side. I mean, he even went against the man. He was trying to fillet the inside of his mouth. I mean, he tried to turn Eren into a Titan. I mean, when you look at everything, it's clear as day that Kenny's not on his side, or maybe not anyone's side. But will he decide to join Levi, which is actually his family member? As we know, Levi is actually the nephew of Kenny, because the sister of Kenny that was revealed in the last episode that had a child, obviously that's probably Levi, and so we know they're related. So, is he going to try to raise his nephew? Are they going to have, like, a heart-to-heart? There's a lot of questions that are raised now because of this episode, especially with Kenny losing his purpose. Now, speaking of the action now, let's get into that. The beginning segment of the episode, dude... seeing Mikasa just go around dodging bullets flying past her and just filleting people was some scary stuff, and I've been missing that. I've been missing seeing Mikasa just go in and just kicking butt, just destroying everybody. It was pretty entertaining, especially Levi as well going up against Kenny. I mean, there's a lot of great moments throughout this episode, and I mean, just the art and animation was on a whole other level, especially for that action segment, and like, it just impresses me. Every time I see an Attack on Titan episode, it always reminds me that Wit Studios really, they go all in. They go all in for their animation, their art. The entire team that works on this series really cares about it. Like, you can see they go the extra mile in these little frames, especially just seeing, like I said, Mikasa, when she's flying in at the other person, she actually actively dodges 2 bullets that are coming at her, and then attacks the person. It's a really nice effect, and it just shows that they love adding in these scenes that are very quick, honestly, and it's going to take a long time to animate properly. They go the extra mile and do it right. So just compliments to them. Now, let's talk about Hanji. So, Hanji, she got hurt badly, and we don't really know because of the outcome of this episode if she is dead or not. She took a pretty heavy hit. She got slung up against a pillar, she hit the ground, had a nasty fall, and we see blood. We don't really know if she's dead. It's not really hinted at or not. You can see Levi look at her, and he realizes it might be too late, and he continues to move onward, which shows that because of this situation, what all of our characters are in, they don't have time to mourn the loss, the people that die, which has always been how Attack on Titan is in the first place. You have characters that come and go. They always die, and so our characters don't really have the proper amount of time to really mourn them, to, feel bad that they lost them. They got to keep moving forward, or they're going to die. So we don't really know what's going on with Hanji. We don't know if she's dead. We don't know if she's alive. That's a big mystery, honestly, and, I like how this episode handled that. They didn't really give any details whatsoever. It was very vague. So, anything else left to talk about? Let's see here. We have the whole Kenny stuff, the Eren and his motive. Let's see. I think the only thing left to really talk about is Historia becoming best girl, I guess. Historia saying, kill all the Titans? No, I want to, kill all of humanity. And I'm like, oh my god. Like, Historia got a little bit aggressive, angry, which makes sense after all the manipulation that's happened and how humanity is the very cause for all these issues that's been going on as well because of Rod's family just locking them up in the walls and manipulating people. So, I mean, Historia is pretty angry. She has the exact same, like, motive as Eren, but instead of being on Titans, it's on humans, so it's pretty interesting. I really like how Historia in that moment was just so great, and just compliments to her and her character, but also the voice actor, but also a shout out to Eren's voice actor as well. That was a job well done, especially for his mental breakdown. I really think the voice actor truly outdid himself. I mean, in the past, when I was first watching Season 1 of Attack on Titan, I didn't really think Eren's voice actor really was as amazing as other voice actors I heard throughout the, different anime I've seen. But after years of watching anime, and seeing that Eren's voice actor has gotten a lot of practice with so many voices throughout the years, I knew for a fact that, he was a really good voice actor. It just really started to show, and I'm just glad to see his performance in this episode really just shows how much he's improved. But I think I want to end this video here. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like. And if you want to get notified for whenever I upload a video, please click the bell icon down below. And with that, Chibi out.